All right. I have a 53-foot step deck. I've been trucking for about 2.5 years. I have a YouTube channel. You can verify that on Babyline Hotshot. Usually in a disaster situation, it is payday for truckers. We look for that hurricane. We look for that ice storm. There's generators coming to you. There's stuff coming out of military bases. There's excavators, skid steers, bulldozers, tree trimming equipment, pumps, like water pumps to pump water out of places that have been flooded. There's no loads on the load board coming to you within 125 miles of Asheville. It's called Truck Stop. This is where I find all my loads. Chicago, Illinois, up at the top. Within 250 miles of Chicago is where I'm going to pick up. The second is the destination. So it goes origin, destination. Watch. See? Drop-off location. Let's do city. North Carolina. Click it. Boom. All right. These are all $1.40 a mile loads, $1.39. That was posted yesterday. I mean, there's nothing. There's nothing. These are loads that you wouldn't even, nobody's taking them. They're just on the load board. They've been on there since yesterday. You can see, right? Let's type in a different city. That's from Chicago. Maybe Tennessee, maybe Nashville is closer, and they'd send resources from Nashville, Tennessee. Nashville, Tennessee, within 250 miles of Nashville, to Asheville, North Carolina, within 125 miles. Let's see, that's it. That's all the loads. That's all the loads that are 28,000 pounds and less. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I mean, what the hell's going on here? I had brokers call me and tell me, Stu, have you seen any loads going to Asheville or like anywhere around the Carolinas, South Carolina, Georgia? Is there any like FEMA loads? There's none. Zero. He's been a broker for 6 years. And he's talking to other brokers. They're saying the same thing. What's going on, guys?
What's going on? Grab your pots and pans. It's time to cook. Don't forget the spatula. Now, y'all know what's going on in the North Carolinas and down south with the hurricane. Helena is doing one hell of a job. Smash that like button if you agree. Tell a friend to tell a friend. This is the beginning. This is not the end. Another episode of the Healthy Discussion Show. Can we talk about it? Well, let's discuss. Now, FEMA, they're supposed to be the people in case of national emergency or weather or climate change. They're supposed to use taxpayer dollars, right? You and our money in order to make sure that society and our people is straight. Are they doing that? Can you put a hell no in the chat? Can somebody put a hell no in the chat? They're not doing anything. They taking your money and sending it overseas to Ukraine. They just gave Ukraine $800 trillion, $800 billion, right? $800 billion while they giving the people here, as far as the rescue package, $750. How embarrassing. How embarrassing. You're going to give the people here, y'all taking our money, sending it overseas, but when we have our own problems, what y'all doing? What exactly are you guys doing? Y'all saying forget us. Y'all giving it to the migrants instead of giving it to the people that's already been here. Peep game. Peep game. Do your life matter? Probably not. They're trying to wipe you out with this new infrastructure that they're doing. They're trying to build their whole infrastructure with the same people, the same mythology that they used in order to build the old infrastructure. They used slaves in order to build it, took their land, kicked them out, and now they're doing the same thing with the migrants. See, the migrants isn't educated, so they don't even know to play. I've seen this before. They don't know to play. So Candace Owens, and this is all happening under Kamala and Biden administration. Remember, she still has the pull right now. If Biden stepped down, she's the VP. What is she doing about these things? And where's the loads? No Diddy. Where is the loads? Can anyone tell me where's the loads? If FEMA's supposed to have all these equipments in storage and everything that they need, like generator, water, food, You think $750 is going to pay for someone to eat? How are you going to pay for something you don't have? Let me repeat. If you don't have any supply, if I don't have any supply, how could you buy? I don't think no one's thinking about that. Let me run that back again. If you don't have any supply, how could you buy? If you go to the grocery store and there's nothing to buy and you have money, what does that mean about what the money that you have? Your purchasing power. You can't buy anything because there's nothing to buy. So that's the problem that North Carolina, Georgia, that's what they're facing right now. And it's devastating. It goes to show America, like Michael Jackson said, they don't give a about us. And it really hit different. It really hit different when you run it back and you can see that it can relate to today's time. They don't give about us. Now, Candace Owens did a wonderful job, right? She did a wonderful job on exposing the truth we hold. Now, that's a book by Kamala Harris, right? But I had to reverse engineer that. It's not the truth we hold. It should be the lies we told. Put the lies we told and at Kamala on this one. Put the lies we told and at ABC and CNN and all these channels that's going against what we need in this democracy, allegedly, hypothetically, supposedly, right? Put the lies we told, because they're telling so many lies that it's crazy to me. And the truth reigns supreme. Smash that like button if you agree. Tell a friend and tell a friend. Now you can email me to cover this. Y'all see the emails down below. You can hit the Cash App if you would like. You can hit the PayPal if you would like. I'm not asking you to do it. Only thing I ask for is subscribe to the channel, tell a friend and tell a friend, meaning share this content, and hit that like button. That's how you pay me for. So now we're going to talk about. Now we're going to talk about Candace Owens, because Candace Owens put it together quite well. She put it together quite well. She went down her genetic bloodline. Come to find out, did y'all know that Kamala is related to the British dynasty? Did y'all know that Kamala's father is part of the CIA? Same thing with Obama. I tell people this, right? Did y'all know that Obama, father, CIA agent, also owned Standard Oil, which is now considered Exxon? Can we talk about it? Follow the money. Don't follow what they say. Follow the money. So Candace Owens did a wonderful job when explaining this whole situation. Watch this.
You guys, I did it. I spoke to Kamala's uncle officially. And by the way, he's a gem. 10 out of 10. I really wish that he was running for president instead of her, because he comes across as a very honest man. I'm going to tell you all about that conversation and how it's now led me to many more questions. So many more questions that I have about Kamala and her true heritage. Also, she's once again been asked about her racial identity. This happened just 3 days ago. Mm-hmm. And suddenly she's a little iffy on the answer. Kamala and me are now in a very particular kind of relationship. I'm like Maury, and she's essentially my guest. I'm asking her a question. Kamala, during your run as president, we asked you if your genealogy was actually Irish Indian.
You said no. The lie detector determined that was a lie.
Oh, welcome back.
Hey, Maury said, she said no, and the lie detector determines that was a lie. That is not your father. In fact, that is not your grandmother. I love the internet. Smash that like button, tell a friend and tell a friend. This is the beginning. This is not the end. Let me know if y'all want to cam up, because I have people that's in the chat right now. If y'all want to cam up, I can send y'all a link and we can have a further discussion about it. I'm going to leave the link in the chat. So if y'all have your own opinion, because this is a discussion, it's a healthy discussion at that, right? And we have to have healthy disagreements. But just because we disagree don't mean that we can't sit at the same table. Just because we disagree don't mean that we cannot come up with a compromise. Just because we disagree don't mean that we cannot eventually agree. You know, we all have the right to our own opinion. I'm just bringing you the facts. Can we talk about it? I just want to talk about it. Hey, Candace, you have the floor.
To Candace. Where to begin? Where to begin? Okay, so 2 days ago or 3 days ago, Kamala was asked again about her Black heritage, and suddenly she is getting a little iffy on the details. You can see she does not want to engage in the conversation, and the answer that she actually gives is fantastic. It is just fantastic, and we need to now pick it apart. So she appeared on a show called All the Smoke, and she was interviewed by the hosts, which are former NBA players Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson. I want you to pay very close attention to her answer here. Take a listen.
What do you think when you hear people kind of questioning just the fabric of who you are?
Well, one, I don't listen to it.
Okay.
I'm really clear about who I am, and if anybody else is not, they need to go through their own level of therapy. That's not my issue.
Their issues, right?
My mother was very clear. She was raising 2 Black girls to be 2 proud Black women, and it was never a question. You know, it's funny because over the years, journalists, some, not most, will want to talk about it. And I say, okay, if you want to have this conversation, I'm prepared to have it, but sit down and get comfortable for a few hours. If you want to start talking about race in America, you want to talk about the 1/8 rule? You want to talk about what it means in terms of who you are perceived to be and the impact that can have on the rest of your life, regardless of who you actually are in terms of your God-given capacity and the rights that you have and should have. So, you know, I don't mess with that. I think that's other people trying to figure some stuff out that they got some issues. They got to deal with it.
Wow. So she just doesn't answer the question at all, right? So before we have
Candace, the term is deflecting. See, that's what women do. See, when a woman don't really want to answer the question that they know what's up, or people that think they're intelligent, except if you're intelligent yourself, you peep game, they begin not to answer the question or ask you a question. I might say, hey, what did you do today? They might say, well, what did you do today? Or what do you want to eat? Ma'am, I just asked you, what did you do today? Acknowledge the question. Be accountable for your actions. Oh, as far as accountability, you can't hold her, especially Kamala Harris, to be accountable. Not for her actions. We're living in a world of this modern concept, these modern things. And I was told these modern concepts don't ever work. Look at it. Same-sex marriage. Does it really work? No. How could it? It's not designed to work. You can't ever reproduce, but that's a whole nother topic. And that's who's Kamala is backed by, the community, but that's a whole nother conversation. Candace, you have the floor.
had her really leaning into being Black. Now all of a sudden she doesn't even mess with that. I don't mess with that. I don't even mess with that. They need to go to therapy. She's pulling this Freudian technique. Obviously, you know, I've spoken to you about Freud, who was a disgusting human being who essentially gaslit women who were actually being abused by their fathers. So what she's doing is this exact same Freudian technique of gaslighting people by being like, actually, you need therapy. The problem is you. The problem is actually you for asking the question. No, Kamala, we're asking the question because you made this a theme in your bookie book, which we're going to get to in a little bit, okay? So you don't get to now just not address the question whatsoever. Put yourself in her shoes, okay? I'm going to put myself in her shoes. I'm running for president of the United States, okay? And these questions keep popping up about whether or not I am Black. Do you know how simple it would be to simply answer the question? List your Black relatives in 4 seconds. I would be like, this is my grandma, this is my grandpa. Suddenly she's a little iffy on the details here. Why didn't she just say, yes, obviously my grandmother is Beryl. Here's a picture of her. She's Black. I'm disgusted with the people that are even calling this into question. Here's my great grandmother, Iris Finnegan. I am obviously Black. Instead, she goes, oh, do you really want to talk about it? That's what I say. These shows. Do you really want to talk about race? Do you really want to talk about the 1/8 rule? I mean, how dare she? And the answer is yes, Kamala. Actually, I would like to talk about it. Yeah, I'm actually totally up for talking about the 1-drop rule, the 1/8 rule. Let's discuss history. That's what those journalists should have done. That's what those former NBA players should have done, not giving her a free pass. I would have been like, no, ma'am, name your ancestors. And why are you bringing up the 1/8 rule at all? let's talk about the history here, okay? The one-drop rule was actually a legal doctrine in the United States that was used as a means of racial classification, okay? It really dates back to the antebellum period in Virginia, where people of color were considered legally white if they had less than 25% African ancestry. So we're talking about something that was pre-Civil War, but then the classifications became especially relevant throughout Jim Crow in the South, obviously, because of segregation. So they're like, are you white or are you black? So they needed to know how to quantify whiteness and blackness. The laws were first officially codified in Tennessee as one of Virginia's racial integrity laws. They wanted birth certificates to just be very clear whether a parent was legally white or legally a Negro, so that it was known which laws in society you had to abide by. What about Indian Americans? Because strangely, she brings up her mom. You would think the first thing she would do would be to bring up her dad. Instead, she brings up her mom. She's like, my mom was very clear that she was raising 2 Black women. Your mother is Indian, like fully 100% Indian. So the fact that the first person that you recall is a non-Black person is suspicious. And regarding Indian Americans, just to be clear, in 1923, the Supreme Court decided in the United States versus Bhagat Singh Thind that Indians were classified as Caucasians, as they had been by anthropologists. They upheld that, but they also made it clear that they were not considered white. So that is probably the answer as to why her mother put Caucasian on her birth certificate. That was actually the legal classification for Indian women. Now, also regarding this one-drop rule, Kamala Harris was never subject to it ever in her entire lifetime. She was born in California. Just to be clear, that was the very first state to end segregation, and they did that back in 1947. So they did it 7 years before the Supreme Court decision of Brown versus Education, which federalized desegregating all of the schools.
This is the vibe that I'm getting with this one. The vibe that I'm getting with this one is they're trying to craft her reality right now. They're trying to craft her reality right now, and it's not working. Yes, Kamala is backed by George Soros. Yes, she's backed by the machine. Yes, she's backed by all of these conglomerates like ABC and the media companies and stuff like that, which controls most people's perception, the masses. That's why the mass watch TV. Now when my grandmother said, and it kind of makes sense to me, hey, Steven, I'm going to watch my program. So I said, when I was young, I said, what does that even mean? You're going to watch your program? Then I thought about it. I said, oh, she's watching the things that program her brain. And I really understood what that means. So they programming you to think something. But if you're smart enough and you're a critical thinker, and I'm an independent thinker because I think on my own, I don't need no one to tell me what's in this brain right here, because this brain works and it's awesome. Right? And it has critical thinking skills, and it don't believe everything that it sees, right? It likes facts. It don't really do anything else that's not factual, and it likes the truth, right? So anything outside of that, I don't understand. And Kamala is one of the things that I don't understand. Something is fishy. Something is not right. Smash that like button if you agree. Leave them comments down below. Let me know what you think about it. Candace, it's on you. You have the floor.
So it actually infuriates me that she does this, that she essentially goes back and pretends that she's lived through something. Like, well, let's talk about the one-drop rule. Why are we discussing the one-drop rule? By the way, even if you were subjected to it, you probably would have passed, since none of your parents are listed as Negroes on your birth certificate. Like, what are you doing mining the history of Black people that came before you and who you are still refusing to name? You put them in a book once, but that was it. Now you don't want to talk about Grandma Beryl. What's up with that? Now you don't want to talk about great-grandma Iris Finnegan. What is up with that? And by the way, as I was considering that, her upbringing and how strange it is that she keeps leaning into the—
Y'all got to understand, right? Evidence is out here to show that. The picture that she took with her grandmother, how was she in that picture? Her grandmother died 4 years before she was born. So how in the hell was you in that picture? Make it make sense. See, the thing about it is people may lie, right? But them timestamps don't. The facts don't really lie. So it's all brought up on a lie. And that's what I don't like about this. Now, where's the integrity? That says a lot about how could y'all, this is what I don't understand. A woman is designed to be a what? Can somebody say, put a one if you think a woman is designed to be a leader. Put a 2 if you think a woman is designed to be a follower. Put a 3 if you think a woman can do whatever she wants, especially in this modern world. And then I'm going to give you the facts, right? The fact is this. A woman is designed to be a follower. A man, right? I ain't say a boy. I ain't say, and I said woman. I didn't say a girl or anything along that nature. This is superiority. So a woman is designed to be a follower. A man is designed to be a leader. How could you have a woman at the head of the household, which means the White House? Make it make sense. Now, I don't have anything against women. I actually appreciate what they do. But when you're trying to play this manly game, that's what I don't respect. It's disrespectful. And to me, America is out of order because they running things out of order and wonder why chaos is up the street. It doesn't make sense to me. I cannot sit here and listen to a woman telling me, hey, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do that. That's emasculating, starting off number one. We're not doing that. We're not going to do that. A man is supposed to be the leader. And this is biblical too. Or we could put the churches in it, which we know they've been compromised. They've been taken over by the LGBTQ LMNOP. So they really can't even speak to me right now. The school's been taken over as well. They took religion out of school and put the rainbow flag. So they definitely still can't talk to me. All I'm saying is that these indoctrination camps, these schools and churches, right? That's where most of your programs come from. And until you break that curse, then that's when we can talk. If you don't break that and start thinking on your own, then you may not understand anything that I'm saying. But the truth, let the truth reign supreme, and let them who have eyes see clearly, right? Let them who have eyes see clearly. I see that they're trying to operate something, or they're trying to run a play and run a program. And the program, to me, you have the internet. You have people talking more than ever before. If you do something with this informational era that we're in, you can fact check people in a millisecond. In a millisecond. So Kamala, you have been fact checked. You have been fact checked. But let's continue. Candace, you have the floor.
This idea, like she was born 2 years before my mother was born, and my mother didn't live through segregation. My mother didn't live through any of this stuff. These are not her memories. These are the memories of my grandparents. My grandfather lived through segregation. I'm going, why does Kamala keep doing this? Like acting like she grew up in the 40s and in the 50s with these sorts of memories. And then I remembered suddenly that she did this on stage a while ago, where she got almost teary-eyed and emotional talking about busing and desegregation. I'm going to roll that back for you just to jog your memory. Take a listen.
You also worked with them to oppose busing. And, there was a little girl in California who was part of the second class to integrate her public schools. And she was bused to school every day. And that little girl was me.
Okay.
The lies, I told you, the lies we told. Her book is called The Truth We Hold, right? I'm going to write a book called The Lies That They Told because it's crazy to me. And the thing about what people don't understand is that MLK was cool. He was cool. But at the end of the day, he told you before he died, he was leading people into a burning building. That's involuntary manslaughter, which means that his method don't work. I'm sorry to say, but yet he's being praised for what? I don't know. Because where's the progress? Where's the progress? Integrating schools, right? Say for instance, you have smart people or privileged people, and you surround them by people that's not so privileged and or smart or educated. They will always have an upper advantage. Does that really work? No, it doesn't. It looks good. It sounds good, but it don't mean that it's good. You can have a house that looks beautiful on the outside, but when you walk in, it's filth. For example, Diddy, big mansion, big house, but the devil roams at night in that junk. Can we talk about it? It roams in there. But let's just continue, just giving you guys different analogies so you can make it make sense. Smash that like button, tell a friend and tell a friend, share this video. Most importantly, share this video.
Guys, so you watch that clip, okay? You're an American. You see she's getting a little choked up, and you can instantly assume that what she means is that she was like a Ruby Bridges. Yeah, like that little girl was me in second grade. I was a part of the second class to be desegregated. Like that instantly signals, given the emotionality of it, that she was a Ruby Bridges. Talk about mining Black history. Well, let me be clear. She intentionally misled people here to make them believe that she was a young Ruby Bridges. This is how disgusting and despicable this woman is. She wanted people to go back in their minds to all they learned about Ruby Bridges, the images of Ruby Bridges having to be protected by police as she entered into that school in Louisiana. She wanted people to go back in their minds to that. That's why she's getting all choky. She's like on the brink of tears. That little girl. So to be perfectly clear here, that little girl went to Thousand Oaks Elementary School in Berkeley, and far from that impression she's giving, she did not live through any desegregation or any real desegregation at all.
That part right there. She's speaking on events that she's trying to be so relatable. You ever met somebody, right, that you know that they lying, or they know that they're trying to be cool to just to fit in, but it may not even be them? That's the vibe that I get from her. She's trying so hard to relate, except you're actually unrelatable. Truth be told, you're actually unrelatable. No one can relate to you. You want to know why? Because it's Cap and it's cappuccino. Can we talk about it?
All because, as I mentioned, the schools had already gone through that before she was born, literally before she was born in 1947. In fact, the school district had to issue a statement after that performance on stage. And this is what they had to put up on their website for clarification. They wrote, "There has been some confusion in the media and social media around the Berkeley schools and integration due to the fact that our high school was already integrated, as evidenced, for example, by high school yearbooks, which show children of many race and ethnicities at school together prior to 1968. In Berkeley, we only have one comprehensive high school, so it was integrated by default. Our elementary schools, however, reflected the racial composition of our neighborhoods, which, like many neighborhoods across America, reflected the history of segregation stemming from policies which restricted the opportunities of non-white residents." So then they go on, "We recently celebrated the 50-year anniversary of our voluntary busing plan." And you can find additional details here. So let me clarify to you what actually happened in her childhood. There was no desegregation effort that she had to live through. She was not Ruby Bridges. Rather, what they realized was, because of the past in which you had Black people all living in one neighborhood, and this was contributed sometimes because of like red line districting. You had Black people living in one neighborhood, you had white people living in one neighborhood. What ended up happening was that you had schools which were like majority Black and which were majority white. And so what they wanted to do in Berkeley was to be the first to offer a busing plan to turn that around, so that the buses would pick up students that lived far from the white school and bring them over there, so that the schools would be more evenly mixed. That's what she's describing. So after they put and implemented this busing plan, Kamala was the second or third class since they had implemented this busing plan. Nothing to do with desegregation, just an effort to say, okay, we're realizing now if people are just districted according to where they live, you're going to have these schools that are like 85% Black and some schools that are 85% white. That's what it is. So just thinking about the emotionality and how tricky she's being here, again, trying to allude to like some Ruby Bridges scenario, really makes me angry. It is just so unacceptable. I just can't stand this fraud. And it's so important to state also that the one-drop rule was declared officially unconstitutional in 1967. That was just 3 years after Kamala was born. This is just not her childhood at all. Not her childhood at all. This is just what she does. She lies.
That's my point. She's talking about things that she can't relate to. The timestamp. See, the thing about time is, and we have timestamp in the receipt, right? You can't just lie and say anything. And to me, she's a great politician because most of them are the best liars in the world. They overpromise, they overkill, they do things that you think is in your best interest. And when they and you figure out, hey, when they get in the office, how much can they really do? You know, and I just think about life like this, right? America is considered a corporation. I have common sense. It's a corporation. It's a business. It's a big business at that. I would much rather somebody like Trump that runs a business, right? Because he don't need presidency. He already has successful businesses, rather than someone who needs presidency like Kamala Harris that haven't run anything successful at all. Can we talk about it? So if the shoe fit, then it fit. To me, she's unfit. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments and what you think down below and who you voting for in 2024, because election is coming up. And let me put it on the record, right? I'm going to put it on the record right now. We got about 30 days until election. Today, the 5th. We got about 29 days until election. And I'm telling y'all, and you heard it, a healthy discussion first. They already tried to kill my man twice. But see, God is on somebody's side, or I consider the forces is on somebody's side. You can't kill something that can't be touched, that's protected, he's gladiating right now. He's unstoppable right now. Obviously, the forces are somebody's with him. You can call it God, you can call it the forces, you can call it aliens, whatever it is, right? And I'm not saying he's a saint. I'm not saying that, because I don't totally agree with everything that anybody says. Not everything, but he makes sense to me. And that's all I'm saying. And you heard it from Healthy Discussion first. They're going to try to attempt to kill this man 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times, because that's their only weapon. Think about it. That is their only weapon. Why they ain't trying to kill Kamala? Because she really don't matter. See, you always trying to kill the person that really matters, right? Because he can then change the system, and or not saying that he can get in the office and change everything. But all I'm saying is that I'm sure that the economy had more money messing with Trump. Look at your bank account. Did you have more money messing with Trump than currently in these last 4 years? That should be an indicator. If you have more money messing with Trump, put a money sign and the dollar signs in the chat. Put the dollar signs in the chat if you have more money messing with Trump. Do I agree with everything he say? No. But did we have more money, mucho money, more dineros? Sí. So make it make sense. Candace, you have the floor.
And she lies and she lies. But it gets better. It gets better. But first, I'm going to remind you guys about preborn, because Kamala is indeed the first vice presidential candidate to ever visit an abortion facility. And Tim Walz supported a bill in his home state which legalized the denial of life-saving medical care to infants born alive after botched abortions. The media has dubbed this the abortion election. We have to stand up to this evil. When you join forces with Preborn, the largest pro-life organization in the nation,
she's running a little ad right now, but I actually support the ad. But let me tell y'all, right? They are running this campaign on abortion. And the reason why they're using abortion, because they understand that you have more women voters than men voters. Let me repeat. So who are they trying to appeal to? The women voters and the people that know habla English. Let me repeat. Who are they trying to appeal to? The feminist community, the LGBT community, the women voters, and the people that habla no English. So it's trickery. Not only is this trickery, right? They're trying to appeal to one's emotion. And the man in me, I cannot be emotional to make a decision while you're under duress or while you're emotionally swayed. That's like you being drunk, alcohol, and you make the wrong decision because you're just so emotional. That's what they're feeding you. Poison. That's exactly what they're feeding you. Poison by words. Because your mind, look at it, without a strong mind and a powerful mind, right? You will be led to wherever they want you to go, to the slaughterhouse. You cannot lead a wolf to the slaughterhouse. The wolf, like me, we the one do the slaughtering. And no, I'm not part of slaughter gang. But I'm saying it to say because I want people to be able to relate, right? I want people to be able to relate. They're playing on your emotions, and that's all they have. Did y'all know, and this is a fact, grab your pots and pans, it's time to cook. Don't forget the spatula. Did y'all know that most abortion clinics is located in impoverished communities, especially in the Black community, because they're trying to kill all your damn offsprings? Can we talk about it? But yet they want to make it seem as if they're putting this in effect to help you. They're not helping you nor your legacy. They're destroying it. Can we talk about it? That's what they're doing. If my truths offend you, oh well. Go talk to a therapist. If my truths offend you, oh well. You should see a doctor. You might want to get a lawyer, right? Because I really don't care what you feel, especially if it's real. Let me repeat. I'm not the one that you come and talk to, right? With that yo gabba gabba. And you trying to sway me. My name ain't Sway Lee. You cannot sway me. Let me repeat. My name is not Sway Lee, and you cannot sway me, right? I do the swaying around here, right? I'm an independent thinker around here, and I think that y'all should be the same, right? Jackie Blue, I appreciate you. That's right. That's right. That's right. Right on. I appreciate you. I say if anybody want to come and cam up, you can cam up or you can do audio, because some people, they care about how they look or they might be shy and timid, but have no fear. Healthy discussion is here. You can cam up if you would like, but let's continue because Candace spitting game right now. She's spitting game right now.
You are protecting the greatest victims in our society, babies that are in their mother's wombs. Preborn's network of clinics are positioned in the highest abortion areas in the nation, and they have rescued over 300,000 babies. When a woman considering an abortion searches to end her baby's life, Preborn is there. Preborn gives them a free ultrasound. The power of hearing a heartbeat on an ultrasound combined with God's love doubles a baby's chance at life. One ultrasound costs just $28, and up to 5 ultrasounds are $140. Any gift will help their cause, and all gifts are tax deductible. To donate securely, dial pound 250 and say the keyword baby. That's pound 250 baby. Or you can go to preborn.com/Candace. That's preborn.com/Candace. So like I said, it gets better because yesterday I was going through her book that I downloaded. I downloaded that so that you didn't have to, because I wanted to send a picture of her grandma Beryl to someone. So initially, when we started looking into the story, my producer had downloaded the book. I had downloaded the book, but he had stumbled upon the picture of Beryl. So I hadn't actually flipped through the ebook that I had downloaded. And so remarkably, it was kind of the first time I was going to the picture segment looking for Beryl. And I realized Beryl's not in this book. I was going, wait, what's going on? This is her book. Where is the Beryl picture? And I said to my producer, did we make a mistake? This is definitely in the book. He pulls his up. He has a picture of Beryl. Mine doesn't. I'm going, is this a different edition of the book? And yes, it was. There were actually 2 publications of the book. One in January of 2019. And then 5 months later, in May of 2019, they published what is known as a young readers edition. Basically, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's meant to be for younger readers, and it's typically more pictorial, right? So they want to change a couple of words, essentially kind of dumb it down to make it easier to read and include more pictures. Yet in this edition, they decided to remove pictures. And it's just, I guess, ironic that the picture...
You know what they doing, Candace? It's called crop. They cropping pictures like we don't do the same thing. They're cropping pictures. They're using Instagram filters. They're cropping the hell out of these pictures. But the thing about the truth is, you don't care what you crop. It don't care what your crop. It's still gonna be the truth. They are cropping the hell out of these pictures, not knowing that people have things called technology to backdate things and look at this and look at that. See, they're forgetting that we have the power of information right in our fingertips. So you cannot spew the same information as if someone can't fact check it or look it up, right? And I tell people, you got to look it up beyond Google, because Google actually is, Microsoft and Google is actually backing Kamala. The same person, Microsoft, is the same person that's trying to create. And I'm gonna do a episode on this. They're trying to create some type of cloud that block the damn sun. Now, I'm a sun person, and I'm come from the sun people. Can't you see this carbon fiber, this copper looking so good? Can't you see it? Look at my skin. It's called copper. I'm not black. I'm a copper, baby. So, and I need that sunlight. So you telling me you're gonna block my sunlight? I call that war. That's war. If we allow them to block our sunlight, full-fledged war. You cannot block something that we all need. The trees need it. Life needs it. Photosynthesis need it. We need it in order to be great. We need the sun, right? We are sun people. So with that being said, why would I support? Why is he supporting Kamala? Or why aren't anybody talking about this type of stuff? And they're doing this practice right here, right now. I tell people, look, don't believe nothing I say. Look it up yourself. I'm just dropping the points that you should look up. Don't believe anything I say. They're trying to Microsoft, Google. He's the head of he want to be the head of agriculture, want to tamper and modify your food. So everything is GMO, genetically modified, right? And now you telling me after you modify the food, you trying to stop the food source or the light source that we all need in order to be better. For example, right? This is how I know the sun is very important, right? The sun is so important that it been raining for 7 days, right? The frequency on Earth been super low. Am I right or am I wrong? If you see the sun, ain't you more happy? Don't you release more dopamines? Don't you begin to smile and say cheese? So with that being said, why are you trying to destroy something that's helping Earth? What's wrong with you? And you supporting Kamala on this one too? Smash that like button, tell a friend and tell a friend. This is the beginning. This is not the end. Most importantly, share this video. Share this
Pictures that they removed for the Young Readers Later edition were pictures of Black Iris and Grandma Beryl. There were more pictures that were removed, but the family members were all still there, except for Black Iris and Grandma Beryl. I found that to be extremely interesting. But suddenly I realized that I had never flipped through the book that had more pictures than the edition that I was holding. And I started going through them, and you guys are not even going to believe just how diabolical Kamala Harris is. It was just... I'm going to have to just go through this calmly, because I am telling you, as a Black person, it's actually offensive how hard she tried to Blackify herself. And it made me think of the entire Emmanuel Macron, Brigitte Macron scandal.
I love that word that she just used, blockify. Not Shopify. She's trying to blockify things. My God.
Because the journalist that broke that story essentially said that what they do when they're running is they publish a book, and that is the legend that is established, essentially, because people in their minds think, oh, well, if it's in a book and a publisher agreed to publish it, HarperCollins published this book about Kamala, they must have fact-checked this, and all of this must be true. People have this wrong perception that if a book is published as nonfiction, that there was some effort of due diligence, which means that everything that you're reading is not fiction. So they do this, like it's like a rite of passage. I'm publishing this book, and I'm expecting everyone to just accept this as the legend of Kamala Harris. I'm going through these pictures, okay? And aside from Iris, aside from Beryl, she also decided to include some other, what I would describe as noteworthy pictures of herself. Like this one, where she writes, "Sporting my fro. Summer of 1970. But basically, you just know when you go through this that they essentially sat down as a team and were like, we're creating the legend. We need you to be Black. Okay, this was published again in 2019. And they're like, we need that Black book. Let's.
You know what it is? That's PSYOP. I got to understand. Her father was a CIA agent. That's PSYOP work. Look, Kamala Harris might be a mole, man. That's all I'm saying. That's PSYOP work. That's PSYOP work. Just like Obama. And guess what he ran on? Change. He surely changed the hell out of things. He changed the schools. He made sure that, hey, your child have more rights than you. If they want to change their gender, they don't have to tell you. That was the change. Ain't nothing really changed. Can we talk about it? See, you got to see. I tell people, look, don't read the headlines, read them between the lines. Because most people are dizzy out here.
Let's make it easy. Give me the blackest photos of you that you can possibly find. Like, to put the caption of her afro is just signaling to Black people, hey, I'm Black, which is ridiculous because there's so many other races that have afros. Puerto Ricans have afros. Spanish people have afros. Jewish people have afros. Mark, my director, is Jewish. He has an afro, okay? It is not like proprietary to Black people, but she's publishing this because, like, you're just supposed to look at the picture, and go, oh, well, she's got an afro. I guess she's Black. She literally wrote that, okay? Then, of course, if you can imagine this team sitting down trying to process how to sell Black, you would go, well, Harlem, right? You got to put some pictures of Harlem here. And there are pictures of her in Harlem. Look at this photo. She just posts up right here, visiting my Uncle Freddie in Harlem. Harlem was always a magical place for me. Now, what's interesting about this picture is the man behind, I don't know if that's actually her Uncle Freddie, right? Like, that came to my mind. I'm like, is this just like a guy working on the side of the street and she's just like including him because this picture shows a Black man that's in Harlem and again signals to Black people that like she's with her uncle up in Harlem? Kind of feels that way. But then I realized that she featured some more pictures of her Black aunties and her Black uncles, and we see Uncle Fred again. Take a look at this photo. This is going to drive you guys crazy because I still can't believe it when I read it. So you see 3 obviously Black people in this photo. You would not question the authenticity of their Blackness. And the caption reads, I'm blessed with an amazing family. I'll never be able to thank Auntie Chris, Uncle Freddie, and Aunt Mary enough for their constant encouragement and support. They always showed up for me, as they did here at a campaign event for my DA's race that we held at a San Francisco, you guessed it, jazz club, because, hey, we're talking Harlem, we're talking Black people, we're talking afros. Let's also post a picture of you in a jazz club with your aunties and your uncles. And like, Black people will just accept that you only have all these photos because you're like super Black. But then I said, wait a second, she doesn't have an Aunt Mary or an Aunt Chris or an Uncle Fred. I've been deep in this woman's genealogy. Who are we talking about here? These people do not exist. And I said, is it possible?
She don't. Truth be told, she do not. But on that note, peace, blessings, and love. I'm going to leave the source down below. Give credit when credit's due. I'm going to leave the source down below. Y'all go check out Candace because she climbed up a tree. And when I mean apple don't fall far from the tree, I appreciate Candace for this one. Let them who have eyes see clearly. On that note, peace, blessings, and love. Tell a friend to tell a friend. This is the beginning. This is not the end. Hit the links down below. I have some value things that's added to the channel as well. If you want to protect yourself against cancer, I have an EMF electromagnetic frequency product in the affiliate link. I'm going to pin that to the top of the chat. If you want to check on your credit, or if you want to have some business funding, anything along that nature, right? Click those links down below. You get a discounted code. I appreciate you guys. Remember, remain truthful because that's the only thing that we have, right? Make sure you have some form of integrity, right? And also remember this, positivity over negativity always. Smash that like button. Tell a friend to tell a friend. This is the beginning. This is not the end. Peace.